to learn how to sew or, do whatever. Also, if you're going to get into woodworking anytime soon, now is maybe not the best time because they did just put tariffs on timber and wood. So housing prices are going to go up. And also, if you
No.
want to, furniture also is more expensive now because of the tariffs on IKEA furniture. But if you wanted to then make your own furniture, I don't know if now's the best time.
Great.
Yeah,
well,
sorry.
I'm going to end with a comment
Note.
from the audience. And I want to give a Blue Apron gift card to Nastasia on YouTube with this comment. Sort of drawing back to something we said earlier. Some people dream of sailing on flotillas to deliver food to starving people. Others dream of their initials on sweatshirts at $130 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
There are very different dreams in this world. Granted, she's still young. Maybe she'll be more than just a grifter. Maybe she will set herself aside from her terrible grandfather and her just as terrible father. I don't know. Or maybe she'll just do the same thing they all do. Just put out crappy products, whatever. Don't even think about it. My manager just came up with it, and I just cut a check, and nothing I do will ever be great. And that's the expectation of me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, thank you, Yaz, for joining us. Great to have you here. It's a pleasure. Everybody, Brett is going to be here tomorrow, so definitely prep for Garbage People tomorrow. You can go to the post tab on our YouTube page and vote for the Garbage Person of the Week as well as the Hero of the Week. Hopefully, did we get Nafisa Collier on the Hero of the Week? Okay, good. I'm rooting for her. I hope that she wins. But anyway, for now, stay safe out there, stay sane out there, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. I'm Sharon Reed. Doc has the day off, and let's pop him up. Look who's back. I think they're saying, Elliott Morgan, that we might make a good team. Maybe you're my better half on days that Doc isn't here.
I love that. It's like a dynamic duo. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree.
You bring the books, the knowledge, the humor.
And you bring
I
literally everything else. So thank you.
well, I get us through the show. I'm sometimes not on time, okay, but I do my
It's
best.
perfect.
Elliott Morgan, this close to being a PhD,
So close.
and also Rebel HQ extraordinaire. Appreciate you always for taking time
Thank you.
out of your books, your studies, your everything to join us.
It's nice.
It's an
It's
honor.
nice. Good break. Thank you so much.
You call it a break, but wait till you see our first story. Okay.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, apparently. Elliott, young Charlie Kirk wannabes emerging all over college campuses. Conservative pundits attempting to replace the one and only Charlie Kirk. They're flocking to college campuses. One in particular is drawing massive backlash among the right. Watch this.
What's up, America? Brian Hollyhant here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line. We have gotten a third room as we have sold out this campus stop 3 times. But we are coming to you. We will fit you in. Students will get priority, but we will make it happen. I cannot be more excited.
All right, so he's gassed up the private jet. Who is that? Well, he's 19 years old. His name is Breland Hollyhan, calls himself the internet's youngest voice of reason. He's now upsetting conservatives, especially those associated with Turning Point USA. You didn't think it was going to be easy now, did you? Here's the rest. Hollyhand is pictured here with Kirk and Candace Owens when he was just 11. So that was 8 years ago. Talk about knowing who you are and what you want. Nick Sauter, fellow Republican influencer who briefly co-hosted the Charlie Kirk show, warned against, quote, grifters using Turning Point USA's name to push campus tours. Turning Point USA is absolutely not sponsoring campus tours for young men flying around on private planes, despite claims otherwise, he wrote. We should pause right there. I mean, that was the posting on X. But if someone doesn't perhaps call you out by name, but they say, whoever's out there saying this on a private jet, and they kind of repeat what you said, they're talking about you. They're talking about you. I mean, it's pretty obvious. This is such an unnecessary distraction from the actual campus tour, which honors Charlie. Ignore the grifters, he added. In a post on X following up from a profile in the New York Post, Hollyhan assured people that he was not trying to take over from Kirk or cash in on his legacy. I mean, look at the posting. He wants to make it clear. Happy Sunday. I want to sit down for a second, introduce myself, provide receipts for all the people who are rightfully cautious in a moment like this. So he's actually saying, look, I know what's out there. I know what's being said, but there's nothing problematic here. It's okay if you haven't seen me before this week, but I'm definitely not a newcomer. I started my podcast in the 4th grade at 11 years old. Charlie and Candace were 2 of my first ever guests. They were speaking at a local campus together and for some reason took a chance on me. Finally, I said this to the New York Post, but everybody just read the headline and not the article. I'm not Charlie. I'll never be Charlie. And I don't want to be Charlie. He goes on to talk about how Charlie Kirk did not die in vain. But he's not the only one out there. Fearless Debate Tour's unannounced visit to HBCU in Tennessee sparked more controversy. Here we have it. Group set up on campus with signs reading DEI should be illegal and deport all illegals now. Let's talk. I would have probably said that let's talk first and then kind of just leave it open. Then you can talk about whatever you want. But who am I? I'm not doing this. Deport all the illegals tour. They are. Led some students to believe that they were there to provoke rather than debate, you think? I mean, put the picture back up. Are these people here to debate or provoke? Asking for a friend. I just feel like it was unnecessary. Like, why would you come to an HBCU with all that commotion knowing that we're going to say something about it? Like, they're just like insane, said TSU senior Layla Johnson. Kate says they were removed for safety reasons, but TSU officials insisted the group was not authorized to be on campus. Despite the clash, Kate said fearless debates will continue, visiting more university campuses. Another campus conservative is comparing Charlie Kirk to MLK. Well, you got to listen to this.
Those messages that makes him similar to MLK in that way. What change was he trying to enact?
So you can say that, like, so are you okay if can I guess like what you think Charlie thinks? So you're surprised that I'm comparing to MLK because do you think that Charlie was driving races apart?
Oh no, you don't have to like assume what I'm thinking.
Okay, no. So no, we do believe that Charlie was trying to bring us together and he was trying to lift us towards Christ.
I used to do that in interviews. I'm asking the questions, but thanks. Okay. Please just answer my question. Elliott, so this is a space, right, that's out there. There's an enormous void, whether you supported what Kirk believed or talked about or parts thereof, his murder has left an enormous void. Young people everywhere who said, hey, I want to be like Charlie. I believe what Charlie believes, good, bad, whatever. These initial installments that some are calling grifters, can they fill the void?
I guess time will tell. I think you're right, though. There's definitely a void. What I would love to see, I mean, there's always the question of can someone fill this guy's shoes? He was a big figure. And especially, I think, for young people, they were able to project a lot of themselves onto him. So that's, you have to have someone who's kind of generic looking and sounding, which this Holly Hand's character seems to be. But what I would love for them to do is take it a step forward with these college campus debates. And I don't know, maybe try to debate like a professor because they're surrounding you on these college campuses instead of only debating 19 and 20-year-old students who are in the process of learning. So I think if they want to like really honor Charlie Kirk's legacy for open debate, they should have open debates with people who are experts in the areas that they're talking about.
Another, and it's speculation, it's probably not fair for me to ask, but why do you think Holly Hand did that post? It kind of seemed braggadocious to me on the private jet. And I don't know everything that surrounded Charlie Kirk. I know about some of the things he said and the things he said he believed in, but was he flashy? Like, what's up with the private jet is what I'm asking.
The private jet is wild to me. And also, I mean, I am like relieved that people, even at Turning Point, are like, yeah, that's kind of a bad look right now. But I also wonder if it's like you haven't quite earned it yet. You're almost, it's like you're cosplaying, whereas Charlie Kirk had definitely been around for a while. So that would be my guess. But yeah, it is a bad look and it is foolish. And he does, unfortunately, I think, look a little bit like a child sometimes. And that's really helpful when you're wanting to capture the minds of children.
Like a little Doogie Howser. Remember him? It was like, 13-year-old doctor or something. Remember that show?
Oh, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes. He still looks pretty good. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that it's a lucrative space to fill. Not saying that the people who want to step into those shoes or do more to fill the void are just after the grift or the money, but it's something to consider. Can we talk about Ted Cruz? Do we have to talk about Ted Cruz? He's not going away. And this time Teddy is using racist rhetoric to describe various Democrats. He's just so proud. Yeah. The White House says sombreros will continue amid government shutdown. We know what they're referring to. Ted Cruz is the latest to push the AI-generated videos of Democrats amid the shutdown. Senator Ted Cruz, the Republican out of Texas, edited sombreros and mustaches onto 44 Senate Democrats on Wednesday, threatening to continue until they reopen our government. I want you to jump in right away, but I'm going to try to get through this. Cruz is Cuban-American. Father immigrated to the U.S. in 1957. 44 Senate Democrats who voted for Schumer's shutdown should know that the sombrero posting will continue until they reopen our government. Warned Cruz in a social media post. Hey, Macarena. I have to stop. There's more to get through, but I have to, Elliott. I have to. Number one, he's offended me because as disgusting and racist as this is, it's not even original. You're copying the other racist. You're a day late copying another racist. So I dock him points for that. but just that he thinks he's so damn cute with this stuff. He does.
I mean, he's very. I don't think there is a bigger fan of Ted Cruz than Ted Cruz. But yeah, the initial video that Trump posted that was like the AI, Chuck Schumer talking the entire time. At least that had some kind of a joke in it, where people objectively don't like the Democratic Party. Just taking images of these politicians that you don't agree with and slapping sombreros on them. I mean, yes, it is racist, and it also is completely devoid of what like actual facts represent in this case. Like the fact that undocumented immigrants actually supplement healthcare for United States citizens. All of that just gets so ignored and just sort of masked by this like ridiculous trolling. And it's like, is there any adults in this like administration? Can we just stop for a second? Can you look at the date? Can we recognize that maybe we're going down a really ridiculous path right now and you're kind of embarrassing yourselves? But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
And here's the thing, and maybe he's not hearing it because it's just he's never faced a live audience with his jokes. I would think he has, but can you address the unfunniness of it all? Like when you're a comedian and you're just getting your sea legs, right? And you're testing jokes and things. Describe the process and where he's missing the damn mark.
I think a big part of it is usually with comedy, you come with, I mean, back in the day, now it's like all crowd work, but at least with stand-up, you would work really hard on jokes that were tailor-made and that you could kind of change according to whatever the temperature of the audience is. The problem here, I think, with Ted Cruz is that he is the joke. And so that makes it really difficult. When you're already wearing clown makeup, it's really hard for people to think that what you're saying is funny because you're already too ridiculous for them to take seriously enough to even get to the punchline. So that is my like crackpot idea on it, I guess.
I think it makes it's scientific. It sounds scientific to me.
Exactly.
He's tripping over his own big red bozo shoes and he's not getting it.
No.
The Macarena vocals have been replaced by an AI version of Donald Trump singing. I bet he was just cracking himself up. You ever know people who everybody else is really laughing, but like they crack themselves up, and that's him. Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's like I don't know what the word. I mean, they're getting enjoyment out of the idea that they're offending people, and I think that's also like not good for comedy because it's not rooted in making anybody laugh or in like drawing attention to just sort of all of our own fundamental contradictions. It's literally just going like, here's a thing that is going to offend you. And that is what makes it funny. And that's not what makes something funny. And also you look ridiculous when you're just imagining everybody being offended when no one's offended. They're laughing at you, dude. Like that's what's happening here. So unfortunately, he's never going to get that.
I forget how old his kids are. I have a 13 going on 14-year-old in my house who checks me all the time. I wouldn't say that if I were you. It's not even funny. Stop talking to yourself, you know? And I would think there would be people within his own household who would say, Dad, please stop it. Okay. It's bad enough the president disgraced our grandfather and said he killed JFK. Okay. Lied about that. Do you have to bring more shame to the family? My daughter would just say, that's it. She'd put a satchel on her back and be out of there with my credit card. It's just too much. Here's more. Kamala's never going to beat me in November. Got to make the country better than you can remember. Kamala's never going to beat me in November. Hey, Macarena. The AI-generated Trump vocals sang. Cruz's post was a clear reference to Trump's recent sombrero edits to videos of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. So it's also kissing up. He's just kissing up to Donald Trump. I mean, don't take a day off. After Trump posted an AI video of Jeffries in a sombrero and mustache on Monday with mariachi music playing in the background, the congressman accused Trump of being racist. Mr. President, the next time you have something to say about me, don't cop out through a racist and fake AI video, Jeffries, Brooklyn, protested. When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face. This is so, look, Hakeem Jeffries is right, it's racist, but this is so childish. And here comes Donald Trump responding.
Disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear, bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
I don't know why, I haven't eaten today, so maybe that's why I did burst out laughing just a little bit. And I'm not proud of that. But I was laughing at like, it's like a Beavis and Butthead part 9-year-old. I like to pass gas. Did you smell it? You know, that kind of humor. And it was so ridiculous. I think that's what made me have this ill-timed, this utterance that I couldn't quite control. Vice President J.D. Vance assured Jeffries on Wednesday that the sombrero memes will stop if he ends the government shutdown that began this week. So they're going to continue with these, okay? And it's most recently, Cruz is accusing New York Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani of being a jihadist and a Marxist, also alleging that the New York Stock Exchange is, quote, woke. I just love Zohran's smile and unbothered attitude. We'll see how much it affects him as they continue to beat him up. Let's play the soundbite.
In a word, what's happening here?
Look, what's happening is New York is run by crazy people. Mamdani, if he's elected, is a Marxist. And you are going to see people who believe in free enterprise, people who believe in property rights, people who don't want a jihadist radical who wants to defund the police, fleeing New York City and many coming to Texas. Look, I think the Texas Wall Street, or it's colloquially known as Y'all Street, which I think is pretty funny. I think that's going to be a powerhouse that if you want to go and not have a woke stock exchange trying to impose political ideology on you, but instead simply have an avenue to raise capital, Texas is going to be the place to do it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you. But before I do, here's what I've learned just by watching these short video there, Ted Cruz. He's likely a close talker at the cocktail party. If you give him a courtesy laugh, you're done. He's just going to keep going and going and going. He's not running jokes by his family or Heidi, his wife. Instead, he's only running them by people who he employs. And that's why we're getting what we're getting here. I don't know where to start, so I'll just let you take it from there, Elliott.
Well, I mean, I will start with your brave admission that you did find the initial, I think that's what you said, the initial AI video was kind of funny. I also agree that it was a little fun. Not the racism part, but they took out the funny part about just making fun of Democrats and replaced it with just the racist part, which is, again, goes to show that these politically oriented people tend to not understand comedy at any fundamental level. I also have to say, I mean, in terms of like Hakeem Jeffries, I do fall asleep when he starts talking, so it's hard to always follow what he's saying. And I don't think that people take him that seriously anymore. And I don't think that his words are threatening in any capacity, just going like, oh, this is bigotry or whatever. Whereas then you have someone like Zohran Mamdani who is going, yeah, you can say whatever you want about me. But at the same time, I'm going to continue talking about how I'm going to make New York City more affordable for people. And I think that is a more rhetorically powerful method than what Hakeem Jeffries is doing, which is basically going, hey, stop posting things. Because when you do that, obviously they're just going to double down. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I like Zohran, and I can't pretend that I know all of his politics, Elliott, but I like his confidence. I mean, here's a guy, if you have two guys in some kind of MMA ring or something, it's a cage, right? One says, I don't need your money. I'm not going to take money from little ladies or, anybody. Don't send me any more of your small donations. We can do this together. And then another guy is just taking all kinds of money, has a stupid podcast, and leaves to go to Cancun when the lights are out in Texas. So one's like, to me, I don't like these, boxes, but he's the stereotypical definition of a man. Now, I'd want to go to battle with him. The other one, you look back, you're like, come on, we got it. It's just the two of us, but we can take these guys. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's a dust. He's gone. He left. You're by yourself.
Right. Like, I mean, Ted Cruz, I don't think was able to stick up for his own wife when Trump was going after her. So the idea that he's going to come out guns blazing and be like, I'm in charge now is just kind of laughable. I don't even think he's liked on the right. Like, I don't know that I've ever met a single person besides Ted Cruz who likes Ted Cruz. And I think that you're right, that the people that he's employing, I mean, they're going, all right, yeah, they'll constantly be looking for new job openings, I imagine.
He may not even like himself. He might be faking it. He might sleep with the TV on. You know, people do that when they don't want their mind to take over. There's too much garbage in there. They want to just sleep with the TV on.
Yeah.
And I think that he could. Why am I diagnosing this guy? He he makes me, he just irks me. And with that, we do need to move on, Elliott. And I don't know if this is going to be much better for us. Ta-Nehisi Coates, schools, Ezra Klein, on race and political division. Aha. Coates would share the worldview of the Black community after Klein called it fatalistic. We got to listen to this one.
Why are we losing?
We're losing because there are always moments when we lose.
See, that feels very fatalistic to me.
It doesn't feel fatalistic to me. It feels like the truth. I mean, and let me express what I mean. I do whatever I do within the time that I have in my life, whatever time I'm gifted with. And much of what I do is built on what other people did before then. And then after that, I leave the struggle where I leave it. And then hopefully it's in a better place. Oftentimes it's not. That's the history, in fact. And then my progeny pick it up and they keep it going. And I think I'm speaking for a broader community here. We are not happy, but we are not surprised, man. And again, the reason why we go back to Reconstruction and the Civil War is because it is, before the 1960s, the only glimpse at the possibility of a real democracy in this country. And it happened. And in some places, it was actually quite successful. You know, you have people who, you know, had been enslaved, who are written off as illiterate fools, who are, you know what I mean, serving in legislatures. And actually, you know, with the standard of the time, actually, it's such a hopeful, incredible story. It's a beautiful thing. And it was violently destroyed. You just have a different view of your country. You know, it is not, I emphasize this over and over again, it is not a fatalistic view. It is not, it is written in stone that we will ultimately lose, but you understand that losing is a possibility.
God, I love that. I mean, it made me tingle. Because and I don't need to be the interpreter for Mr. Coates, but there was that time. I love that he's talking about that period, that Reconstruction that was ultimately disgustingly murdered. It was killed out. But it was a time that did show this country's promise that we too could be proud and get after it. Ex-slaves serving in the legislature. There was at one point in some places more Blacks than whites. And not to say that that's the way it needed to shake out. But in that short time, look what we were able to achieve until, there you go again. Coates would then call out Klein's disregard of marginalized the community in the Democratic coalition. Listen.
I just think you take very, very seriously the need to convince people outside of the tent right now, right? About like we have to convince them to come in. I guess what I want from you is I want you to take as seriously people who are in the tent and who are vulnerable and afraid. And if you have to convince them of something that's extremely uncomfortable, or tell them that you're taking a position that is extremely uncomfortable, I just think you owe them a little more. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
man.
That's fine. I'll take it.
Again, I love the conversation. So I'm coming to your table, I'm having a seat, and then I'm asking you what to plate me. That's what he's doing. Here's what I like on my plate. He offers the ask there. So brilliant. In addition, Ezra Klein has received a lot of flack online for his comments during his discussion with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Here are some of the criticisms.
It seems like Ezra treats politics like it's a game. He seems to be focused, Ezra, on short-term gains to acquire power in a way that does not have the same level of integrity.
People like Ezra Klein and like this person are really struggling with the idea that for a lot of us, we are not willing to trade other people's humanity just to have political power. like, I think they're really struggling to see that, like, how we're drawing that line and that we're sticking to it. And I think really honestly, that is white supremacist logic, right? That like people have internalized that tells them that they need to win at all costs and that there is no bar for their behavior. There's no level of morality that they have to ever uphold. And I think that like, that gets to be your line, right? Like that gets to be true for you, but it doesn't have to be true for me. And I think that folks are really struggling with that idea.
What is most annoying about Ezra Klein is that he extended Charlie Kirk a level of civility and grace that he would never extend to a Black person. Especially considering that Charlie Kirk is someone, by Ezra Klein's own words, he vehemently disagreed with on every issue. Charlie Kirk was homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic. He had very toxic views about the role of women. He did not believe that women should have jobs outside of the household. He believed that young women's only goal was to get married and have kids. And still, he offered Charlie Kirk grace because he saw that his humanity was intertwined and linked with Charlie because they are two white men in a way in which that he does not see his life, his liberty, his freedom linked to ours, his humanity linked to ours.
While interviewing Ta-Nehisi Coates, Ezra Klein suggested Black people move past the legacy of Jim Crow terrorism to help the Democrats form winning political coalitions. Yet in different interviews, Klein has routinely argued that Jews have a right to return to Israel because they were forced out 3,000 years ago. Feels a little bit racist, if I'm being honest.
He was considering Ta-Nehisi Coates' worldview to be fatalist. And I think it's significantly more fatalist to look at the state of the world and go, oh, the only option here is to abandon those who need the most help. That, to me, is a fatalist worldview. It's not a fatalist worldview to go, we might not succeed, but we must struggle. And we must struggle even if we might not see that success for ourselves. Understanding that idea is just understanding Black history.
Boy, thoughtful comments. Good compilation there of different people, different views. Well, a lot of them share the same underlying theme, sentiment, if you will. I guess what struck me more than anything else there, Elliott, is, again, I know it's overused, but it's true. The enormous privilege that you would sit before another man who doesn't look like you, has a different life experience, vastly different, is learned, brilliant, and attempt to define them in such a simplistic and offensive term. It just strikes me as what we're dealing with. I had Pete Hegseth on a stage in front of accomplished, whether you agree with war or how many somebody hasn't resolved or not. These were disciplined, some of them heroes. They've been all over. They've seen all kinds of things. They've interacted with people that some of us will never come in contact with. And you stood on that stage and you said some of them were there just because of DEI, which it's not a dirty word. I'm going to say it as much as I want. DEI is beautiful. Okay. That's what you did. And actually, I know he's a faker, but Elliott Hegseth wasn't faking. He does believe that he is supremely qualified, even after all of his own history and failings. Ezra Klein believes he's hit the mark with this brilliant man. And how are we ever going to come together when our worldviews and our experiences are diametrically, they're polar opposites? What say you?
Yeah, I mean, with Ezra Klein specifically too, like that whole conversation is, I think, a really great microcosm for your sort of like Kamala style, Biden style Democrat who is, they look at the poll numbers and they adjust their positions according to what they believe will grant them power ultimately. But in that conversation, you have Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is brilliant, explaining a position that is principled and historical. And then you have Ezra Klein going, well, that's fatalistic, as if a political position or a political worldview, even like why, who cares whether it's fatalistic? Like, let's just say it is for the sake of the argument. Like, that doesn't discount the legitimacy of it. I think it just is another example of them going, well, yeah, that doesn't sound good. That's not going to poll well. That's going to bum people out. And it's like, yeah, the reality of the world can bum you out sometimes. And I would rather have like a political position where I can like hold on to that and go, look, this is rooted in principle and it's rooted in like what has actually happened. There is some kind of a framework that I can exist in no matter what happens on the outside. And then you have Ezra Klein going, yeah, well, not if it doesn't sound good. And it's infuriating.
You're so brilliant. I would rather have seen you with Ta-Nehisi Coates. I mean,
we would get
so
along.
Brilliant. And here's the thing. I guess you just brought me to another thing. It triggered me. It's the dumbing down. You know, somebody like you, let's go point, counterpoint. Let's get into this. Wow. I don't have to agree. It's not about greed, but it's like, let's have this meaningful discussion. But instead, he dumbs it down, summarizes, and just wants to move on. It's like the USA Today approach. And I'm not suggesting it's just, let's keep it short, bring in some color. Okay. But we're not getting all into this in-depth stuff. We're not. Maybe the Sunday edition. I'll give you the last word.
No, I think that you're absolutely right. And I do hope that people, when they're listening to this conversation, start going like, okay, if anything, it should make you question what your actual political position is and whether or not it is dependent on whether people like it or not. Like Ezra, like we've seen what happens when Democrats just choose to lean into what they think is going to work. And the point that Ta-Nehisi, I think, is making there, especially regarding the tent, like we saw how that failed in the 2024 election. We saw how reaching out to these mythical centrist Republicans never ended up working. And then you have Ezra Klein sitting there continuing to basically ignore anybody to the left of them that are already in the tent because they may not poll well. And it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Stop trying to define us. Can we just go with the truth? The truth will be okay. Right. Let's just let's go where the truth takes us and navigate it. Or you could dumb it down. You dumb it down. But he showed up, and I give Ta-Nehisi Coates credit for that, speaking truth to unearned power. I love it. This is Indisputable. Sharon Reed, Elliott Morgan. We've been on a lot. I can't wait to get to some of your comments, too. We love the TYT family. I hope you're out there weighing in, see what you have to say about that conversation. Like I said, I can't wait. Doc has the day off. Much more to come.
I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your goddamn religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care. I don't believe in it. And I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
No one is representing what I call the silent majority, which is about 2/3 of this country, indisputably progressive.
But now we say the time has come for regime change in American television.
The Young Turks Network.
You know, you have the Young Turks saying this is the time to fight for our values.
Young Turks is the oldest left media institution I believe that there is. Real front runner in the online media space.
You guys might know us.
biggest online left of center outlet that exists.
All of you know the Young Turks?
People from this district heard about Justice Democrats by watching your show.
Thanks to the Young Turks for covering Trayvon Martin's case early on when few people were covering.
They don't stop, I won't stop. Racism won't stop, so I won't stop.
Species are at risk of going extinct. Major media outlets did not dedicate much time at all to that.
We reached a whole heap of people with our progressive message.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks.
That 300 million is a pretty good number, Well, that's the size of the US population. You know what our next target is? The size of the entire world.
We just crossed 5 billion views on YouTube.
I mean, imagine 10 years ago thinking one day, we would have looked at you like, are you nuts?
Young Turks has just passed another milestone.
25 billion lifetime views.
Damn.
Too strong, way too strong. That's 25 billion times someone watched the progressive message delivered to people all over the world. You know who helped to do that? You guys did. Our members and our audience are amazing, and they helped us to reach 2 generations, both millennials and Gen Z. They're both super progressive. And I gotta tell you, we're just getting started. Thank you.
Corruption, injustice, the system is rigged against you. Every day we're blasted by a flurry of terrible news from every angle, which can make it challenging to stay positive and know how to fight back. The Damage Report is your solution. I'm Johnny DeRola, and my daily morning show cuts through the noise and exposes the real damage being done to our country, the world, and how we can fight back against it. Corporate greed crushing workers? We'll name names. Politicians selling you out for their corporate overlords? We've got the receipts. Climate disaster, economic collapse, the rise of fascism. No spin, no establishment talking points, just the truth that you need to survive and resist. But it's not all doom and gloom. We'd love to have you join the Dragon Squad, our community of positive-minded activists who turn the day's news into positive action. With new episodes every weekday, listen to The Damage Report to get honest news, unflinching commentary, and daring coverage you won't find anywhere else. Listen to The Damage Report on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, because understanding the damage is the first step.
Welcome back. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has the day off. He's left the keys to this Ferrari to us. Who's driving? You probably wouldn't want me to be in the driver's seat, Elliott. I mean, my daughter complains every day. She said, I hope the police pull you over. You're a terrible driver. I can't wait till I drive. If police go by, she says, police, over here. Can you pull my mom
Get
over?
her.
Yeah.
Help
so
me.
Maybe I'd let you drive. I just want to blast the music, you know.
That's
Okay.
same. I'm not, driving is not my forte for sure. So it's best I don't.
I thought I was a good driver, but okay. Let's get to some of your comments, TYT members first. Devil Bear, we love you. Devil Bear Hawkturian, thank you for your contributions 3 months ago for the first year. Love the news and opinions that the fam brings. I love you guys too. You're so very in touch audience. And about Charlie Kirk and the wannabes that seem to be out there. Devil Bear Hawkturian says, Charlie K, wannabe alert. Leave us alone, please. From your lips. There's more. Let's see. Tech nauseated. They always target college kids because they think they are easier to outsmart. Usually they're wrong. And he never debated. He talked, yelled over his opponent, desperately repeating the same failed talking points. LaRon Harrison says, nah, you want the Charlie Kirk money. They're grifters is what he's getting at. And V Brown says, MLK, who some are comparing Charlie Kirk to, I believe they did that at his memorial service. MLK didn't preach hate. Stop it. Okay, Ted Cruz. Not amused, not laughing at his jokes. Neon Death 07. Cuba, come get your boy. they want to give him back. I don't think he was born there. In fact, there's more on that coming up. He thinks he ate no crumbs left, and he should know that plate is still full. Tyler Hackner. Archie15 says Ted Cruz, that hardcore Texan from Canada via the Ivy League. So people may have forgotten that Ted Cruz was born in Alberta, Canada, mother U.S. citizen. He's always been a citizen, but when he ran for president, he denounced his Canadian citizenship because he believes he's American through and through. Quickly, we'll get to just a couple more, then we'll double back. Ta-Nehisi Coates and Ezra Klein. Mr. Kitty, it's what I call my wife, says, I love Ta-Nehisi because my life motto is disappointed but not surprised. Yes. And Isleandra, Ezra wants to move the Overton window further right. Well, I think it looks to be the part. I think we need more of those conversations, though. People who are willing to just sit down and talk, even if 50% of the conversation gets on your nerves or isn't worth it, perhaps. You have to talk to people until you don't. There's some people you got to cut off. I just stop. No, I can't hear you. Okay. I'm not going to argue with stupidity, foolishness. It's not to say they're not dangerous. So many in this species they've heightened danger surrounding them at all times. They do. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
You're still free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Absolutely not. Why? Because you are doing illegal things and
Why?
Police. I work for the police. Why do you think they're not coming here?
So can you show a badge and an ID?
I don't need to.
So if you don't need to, just go out, okay? So if you want to order, I can take your order.
I don't
if you
need to. I own you.
Why do I own you? I work by myself.
I own you.
So I really will.
And I own you.
So
do you understand? This is my world. Do you not get it?
So I just.
Do you have a brain? No.
Disgusting. But telling her truth, this Karen, going on an abusive power trip because she works for the police. Now, that could mean anything. He asked for the badge. I don't know if she even had a badge. Working for the police. What does that mean? You deliver coffee? Maybe sweep up. I don't know. Or maybe you do ride in that little car. I don't think so. Okay. I could tell by her demeanor and how she approached this situation. The Karen, you heard her, works for the police, says she owns restaurant workers. According to the post of the video, happened at a boba queen in Fremont, California. Quite the scene she put on there, quite the display. And the interesting getup there, those parachute pants. They appear to be parachute pants. Throwback. I can't dress, so I'm not even making fun of them. I just think it's interesting. Normally, Elliott, when we see Karens behave in this unhinged manner out in the wild, perhaps rabid, they have more their traditional garb on. They have the K+8 haircut, the Lululemon pants, and the attitude. The arms are crossed. But I wonder your thoughts on, I guess it was a threat. I work for the police. Why do you think they're not coming? Not sure that made sense. Your thoughts on what we did see in this encounter?
Well, I actually have a copy right here of Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species. And I do think that what we're seeing here is a really beautiful example of the evolution of the Karen into looking very differently through a process of natural selection. They don't have the K+8 haircut anymore. A lot of times you might think that they're just your sort of woke liberal these days. So yeah, and I imagine that this has something to do with someone who is going through something mentally. I think that if we had some kind of like, I don't know, universal healthcare that maybe also included mental health care, then people would have somewhere that they could go to sort of express these things rather than just laying it all out in the boba factory. So that's, I mean, one day maybe we'll get there.
Does boba soothe the soul? Okay, so now your analysis is perhaps set on. It sounds, again, scientific, but you're worrying me. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, more and more with this government shutdown, unless I guess the Dems are successful, are going to be kicked off of healthcare, right? The premiums are going to go up in, I think, November 1, and they're not going to have or get the help they need. But the other part, probably the bigger thing that worries me about your analysis is your prediction that this is assimilation. Because besides their mouses, they're just walking among us. I feel as though I can identify them even before they speak. Sometimes I'm not stereotyping. I'm telling you, this is what they do. But if they're evolving and assimilating and dressing like perhaps like that dress look like that could be somebody cool, walking in some kind of hip artsy part of town.
Right. Yeah. There was
now, Karen, I'm concerned. Okay.
Yeah. There's a video, I think, a couple days ago of a woman who wasn't getting Charlie Kirk written on her Starbucks cup. And when the camera flipped around, she looked like she runs like a feminist book club in Portland or something. Like I think that the Karen mode of consciousness is like a virus, and someone needs to make some kind of a vaccine for it. But I doubt they would take it.
Yeah, we're losing credible vaccines that. They will have to, I guess maybe there'll be black market for them, but to ask scientists to go and then develop this one, that we desperately need this too. I don't see it in the cards. Not under this administration, not anytime soon. Sad. Can we go to New York now? I think we will. Eric Adams officially drops out of the New York mayoral race as a tell-all book emerges. Here's Mr. Adams. Shawty. His announcement.
But trust me when I tell you, what we've started will continue to reach every community in this city. It's not always easy to see the impact of good policy in just 3 years. I also know some remain unsure of me after the unfortunate events surrounding my federal case. I was wrongfully charged because I fought for this city. And if I had to do it again, I would fight for New York again. And yet, despite all we've achieved, I cannot continue my reelection campaign. The constant media speculation about my future and the campaign finance board's decision to withhold millions of dollars have undermined my ability to raise the funds needed for a serious campaign.
So the outgoing mayor of New York, Eric Adams, achieved so much after we achieved so much. For who? Turkey? I mean, not convicted, left this case, dropped, no prejudice, but the allegations were credible. And we know what happened there. But there's Mayor Adams talking about, lamenting really, why he can't continue to do good people of New York's work. So what about a reaction to that? Adams' opponent, Zohran Mamdani, he'll give his reaction to this.
Today, Eric Adams announced he won't be running for re-election. 4 years ago, he ran on a promise to working class New Yorkers, to deliver both safety and justice, to bring the voices of the outer boroughs into City Hall. Instead, he raised their rents, slowed their buses, and cut funding for their schools, libraries, and childcare. A city that was already hard has become nearly impossible for those who call it home. But a new day is coming. Over the past year, tens of thousands of you have built the biggest grassroots campaign our city has ever seen. You have knocked on millions of doors, all to make the city affordable. In just over 5 weeks, we will turn the page on the politics of big money and small ideas and deliver a government every New Yorker can be proud of. And to Andrew Cuomo, you got your wish. You wanted Trump and your billionaire friends to help you clear the field. But don't forget, you wanted me as your opponent in the primary too. And we beat you by 13 points. Looking forward to doing it again on November 4th.
He gives me chills. I heard the word me exactly one time. And then he quickly went back to we. And the background, the clean background, the little driving music, the smile. The presentation actually means something to me, especially when you juxtapose it with the guy who even held his mother hostage with that picture, the picture over his left shoulder as he was just talking utter nonsense and telling lies about his accomplishments, the incumbent. New York City Mayor Eric Adams dropping out of the mayoral race that had him pitted against Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Silva, Adams posted a video to social media Sunday to announce he was ending his candidacy. While sitting on the stairs of Gracie Mansion, holding a photo of his mother behind him there, she doesn't approve. She can't change her smile. She does not approve. He knows it, but he plopped her right there to support him. Sitting on the stairs there, Adams said he hoped his life could be an example for children during challenging moments. I think it can. I think the life of Eric Adams can be an example for kids. You decide what kind. Apart from Adams' legacy is his bringing back former Mayor Bloomberg's stop and frisk policy. There's that. 2013, a New York federal judge ruled practice was ineffectual and as implemented under Bloomberg violated the constitutional rights of minorities. By 2021, Mayor Bill de Blasio's final year in office, NYPD officers conducted just 8,947 stops. 3 years later, that number, well, I guess he's proud of it. It's nearly tripled under Eric Adams. Just look at it. This from a man who, before he ran, I interviewed him and I remember him telling me, because I was suspicious. I don't know if this is what New Yorkers need. An ex-cop? Sharon, trust me, shorty, I was beaten to within an inch of my life. And I said, you know what? That's what the cops did to me. I'm going to join them. I'm going to reform. I'm going to clean this up. Did he clean things up? Or did he harm more Black and brown people? Since Adams took office in 2022, stop and frisk incidents have risen each year. They've continued to disproportionately target people of color. NYPD officers recorded more than 15,000 stops in both 2022 and 2023. 9 in 10 people stopped by the NYPD, Black or Latino. Sign of the times. You're fitting right in, Mayor Adams. Then over a head-spinning period of weeks last year, his police commissioner, schools chancellor, several deputy mayors resigned following a series of federal raids on their homes. None have faced criminal charges. Then in late September, federal prosecutors brought fraud and bribery charges, accusing Adams of accepting illegal campaign contributions and steep travel discounts from a Turkish official and others. In exchange, later accelerating the opening of Turkey's diplomatic building, among other favors. That's why I asked, you accomplished big things for who? Turkey? They got that building. President Donald Trump had reportedly considered giving Adams a job in his administration to encourage him to leave the race. President interfering in local politics. Trump has made no secret of his desire to stop frontrunner Mamdani, Democratic Socialist, from running New York City. Just last night, MSNBC's Al Sharpton grilled Adams about his relationship with Trump and asked if is there a quid pro quo that involved the DOJ dropping indictment charges against the mayor, which were brought by the Biden administration for alleged corruption in exchange for allowing Trump to go after undocumented migrants in New York City. Trump said recently Adams was a, quote, very good person. And I helped him out a little bit. He had a problem and he was unfairly hurt over this question, Sharpton asked. Did you and the president ever discuss your indictment or with anyone around the president asking for help? Or is the president making that up when he said, no, we don't know what he's aiding that he helped? Adams answered. Whatever way he helped, thank you for your help. Did he help or didn't he? This is very confusing to me. I want to be very clear on that. Thank you for your help. I was facing 33 years in prison for bogus charges that the federal government came at me on. And whatever help he did, whatever he's defining, thank you for your help. So you did help. You got help from Trump. Speaking of Trump once again threatened New York City against voting for Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani, this time suggesting he'll personally intervene at the federal level to defund all of his policies if he wins. It's unclear what money Trump is talking about, but New York City is expected to receive less than 7% of its operating budget for next year from federal sources. Addictive. Meanwhile, there's this juicy tell-all book about Adams It's on the way. Jasmine Ray, former member of Adams' administration, preparing to release a self-published memoir. She says it will expose a romantic relationship she once shared with the mayor. Can I tell you, there's something about the book cover there. It's grossing me out. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it belongs in a certain aisle in the bookstore. They still have that one aisle that's a little bit racy. And then you could get I think you could put a cover over your book so people don't know what you're reading on the plane. According to the New York Daily News, I didn't get the books. I'm just telling you, I think that's what's out there. According to New York Daily News, Adams confirmed the relationship was before he took office, days after Ray resigned from her director of sports, wellness, and recreation position created by Adams himself in November 2022. Ray was informally the city's sports czar, pocketing a hefty $161,400 base salary. How are you informally the city's sports czar? I want that job. Do you get to go to Knicks games and things? Do you know what that is, Elliott? What is that? You're informally the sports czar. You get to go to the Knicks, maybe, the Yankees, the Giants. What does it mean? Do you know?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what any czar really does. I just think it's a funny sounding title. So good for him, I guess.
Yeah. As sports enthusiasts, I would change it. I would probably, won't give me the money. I'm going to do something to work for it. But czar, you're right. At the time of her hiring, Adams said Ray brought a wealth of experience to our team and how proud he was to have her join our administration. The outlet also reported Ray had Adams' permission to work as a consultant for 10 hours a week for a Brooklyn daycare center that relies on city funding, while also working her city job. According to reports, that same daycare was awarded a $4.7 million city contract for pre-K services. What are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say? It's a coincidence, I'm sure. Ray announced she would self-publish the juicy tell-all book titled Political Humanity, which will describe their alleged hidden relationship, marked by intimacy, sacrifice, betrayal. It mirrors the larger struggles of politics itself, the tensions between personal humanity and public expectation, the book's website alleges. No, it's a book about an affair. Let's stop it. It's a book about an affair. The book's description, which can be yours for the low price of $9.99, promises to divulge it all, from the shadows of City Hall to the silence of closed-door meetings. Jasmine Ray reveals her untold role in the life of New York City's mayor, Eric Adams. I know exactly how this one's going to end. I'm not going to get the book, but I might read excerpts online. But I already know how this one ends. Ray has said their relationship occurred about 10 years ago through City Hall officials. They, though, have drawn a clearer boundary. Kayla Mamalak, spokesperson for the mayor, acknowledged the pair once dated, but insisted there was no overlap between their personal history and their government work. The relationship was professional while working together, Mamalek said. Adams himself has not denied that he and Ray were involved in the past, but has dismissed the book's framing of their connection. His office maintains any personal relationship took place before she entered city service. And so I'll start there with you, Elliott. Do you believe Mayor Adams?
As a rule, no. Generally speaking, I just think it's worked out well in the past. I do think that we should just take a moment and, send our condolences to all of the crickets that are very disappointed that he's dropped out of this mayoral race, because that's all I could hear after he did it, because I don't think anybody really cares. Also, if you just look at the imagery that he uses in that video and you juxtapose it with the imagery, like you were saying, of Zohran Mamdani's video, I think it is very telling that one has, what's that?
Me, sorry.
Exactly. Me. And here's me on this, spiraling staircase with a burgundy rug, and here's a picture of my mom or what, and then you have Zohran Mamdani, who is again just bringing the issues back to actual policies that he failed to implement. So I think that they have their hands tied now. Like Zohran Mamdani is going to do this, and the fact that they only take however much from the federal government is because these blue cities tend to pay in more than they take out. So it does give them a certain amount of leverage to be able to do things that Trump might not be able to ruin, at least hopefully not.
Yeah, you see how smart that is? Because he's already threatening and taking away an infrastructure, and this was planned for the police, and he's a child who didn't get his nap time, and so he just takes it away. Okay, and you're right, Eric Adams, not talking about how much he loves this city and he wishes the best for New York. No. Instead, he's talking about how he was wrongly accused. That's false. How it was all engineered. Why'd they pick you? Why do you think they picked you? Okay. And why'd they pick you out of a lineup? And listen, people get railroaded all the time. Ask the current administration. Okay. I'm not crying for Comey and what's the guy who loved war? What's his name? With the mustache. Okay. Yeah.
Something with a B. What is it? John Bolton. There you go.
Bolton, that's the guy who loved the war hawk. They're being railroaded, but I'm not, I got too much to do to cry for them, Elliott. I can't do it.
No.
If I get time after I get through everything else, and the list is growing each day. I don't think I'm ever going to get to it, but I'm not, but they're being attacked.
Yeah.
This guy, he's going to end up, Jenk said it the other day on the main show, he's going to end up with probably a cushy Wall Street job. There was rumor that he was going to be the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine? All the gold, all the money, all the oil. You don't want that guy over there. I don't know where he fits in besides SNL, where I think he should play himself and they should give him a guest spot just one time. And just use his just script out the things he's actually said. It'll be hilarious. I'll give you the last word. Bye, Mayor.
I mean, I think that you're right, and he should go on what he should have done is gone on SNL to make the announcement that he was dropping out of this mayoral race. That way, maybe people would actually take him seriously.
Yeah, it's brilliant. What about the timing? Okay, he doesn't have anyone around him though who would say something like that to him. Look, I know you're a joke, and people don't trust you, and you've been accused of crookery. But let's make the most of it. He doesn't have anyone in his office who's going to say, I want to put your mom behind you like that. It's just too much. It's just too obvious. It's too obvious. Let's see. Shall we move on to the next one? Because this story has a lot of money involved, but perhaps not enough based on what went down. Framed innocent Black man who spent 38 years in prison awarded $25 million. Like I said, that's still not enough. Maurice Hastings spent 38 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit. His lawsuit claimed both the officers and the district attorney framed him. He has now been awarded a $25 million wrongful conviction settlement. It is the largest in California history. I'm going to say it again, it's not enough. 38 years, not even $1 million a year, and it still wouldn't be enough. What happened? June 1983. June 1983, Roberta Weidemeyer left her home late one night to buy cigarettes and medicine, according to reports. She was abducted, sexually assaulted, murdered by a single gunshot to the head. When she didn't return home, her husband, Billy Weidemeyer, and his friend, George Pinson, went looking for her. They spotted her car. They tried to follow it when a suspect shot Billy in the head. He survived. His wife's body was later found in the trunk of her stolen Cadillac. Horrific. Horrific, disgusting, violent act. Wouldn't you want to know who the real killer is? Wouldn't you want to know? To protect society, to bring the family some peace. Maurice Hastings was charged, instead put on trial. The jury was deadlocked. So let's try him again. Second trial found him guilty for her murder and the attempted murder of her husband and George Pinson, despite zero physical forensic evidence linking him to the crime. Hastings even had an alibi, which he provided. Didn't change anything. Life without parole was the sentence. During Weidemeyer's autopsy, the coroner collected body fluids of the suspect during a sexual assault examination. That's according to the district attorney's office. Hastings sought DNA testing to compare that evidence in 2000. District attorney denied his request. Hey, you got your man, right? And by the way, if I'm guilty, I'm not going to request that. I don't want that evidence. Deny. Thank you to The Root. Excellent publication for giving us some of the reporting details. Now, per The Guardian, he maintained his innocence for years, even submitted a claim to the DA's Conviction Integrity Unit in 2021. All those years later. And that is when DNA testing confirmed the semen was not his. They had it all along. This is really sick. If you're behind this, who did this? Look at your life. Oh, sick. 2022, now 69 years old. Hastings' conviction was vacated only after he spent nearly 4 decades behind bars. That's enough, right? We don't need to add insult to injury. Well, yeah, we do. Bodily fluid retrieved during the victim's exam belonged to Kenneth Packnett, who was arrested mere weeks after Weidemeyer's death for an unrelated car theft. Law enforcement even found items taken from Weidemeyer when she was slain, including jewelry, a coin purse that was with him. Packnett also had the same type of gun on him that was used to shoot the victims. He was never investigated. Packnett had also been convicted of a separate armed kidnapping and forced copulation charge of a female victim who was also placed in a car's trunk. Eerily similar, these details, to how Weidemeyer was killed. Packnett died in prison in 2020, prosecutors said. He was serving time for kidnapping and rape. This isn't how it works. Well, he ended up in prison anyway, so yeah. It's not how it works, folks. Not how it's supposed to work. It actually does work that way too often. Now, the city of Inglewood has agreed to pay Hastings $25 million in what his lawyers say is the largest wrongful conviction settlement in state history. Flash forward 2025. He's now a free man. Large lump sum of money. His lawsuit claims 2 Inglewood Police Department officers and the Los Angeles District Attorney investigator at the time framed him. Per CBS News' attorneys allege the Inglewood Police Department falsified evidence of Hastings' guilt. They buried evidence corroborating his alibi, single-handedly framing an innocent man. They called Hastings' alleged framing policing at its worst. No amount of money could ever restore the 38 years of my life that were stolen from me, Hastings said in a statement. But this settlement is a welcome end to a very long road. I look forward to moving on with my life. Hastings is now 72. He lives in Southern California. He is active in his church. The Guardian reports lawyers for the defendants and a spokesperson for the city of Inglewood did not respond to emailed requests for comment on Tuesday. I don't know why you wouldn't respond. They should not be able to shut you up about the disgustingness that happened in this city decades ago. If I live there or anywhere, and I'm to believe that this will never happen again, I shouldn't be able to shut you up. You should be commenting all day. And I tell you, Elliott, he deserves every penny. I say it again, he deserves more. And this is no disrespect because I get it. I get what he means. I get what the lawyer means when the lawyer says proudly, this is the largest settlement in California history. The fact that it was even necessary is what I'm stuck on. That's what I'm stuck on.
Right.
It's sick.
It's something to be proud of amidst a situation that is just crime on top of crime on top of crime. Like, you already have a tragedy that occurred. Then you have the added tragedy of putting a human being in a cell, in a cage for decade after decade after decade after decade. Like, he's right. There's no amount of money that is ever going to undo that. And I cannot fathom Like, truly cannot fathom what it would be like to spend that amount of time knowing that this was wrong, knowing that you were framed, and being unable to actually do anything about it, and knowing that there were people who very clearly anybody could see that it was not him that was the issue here. So like, this is, I feel my heart goes out to, it is a happy-ish ending, but it's a happy-ish ending only because of how incredibly horrible the whole event was.
Yeah. I'm a tough, resolved person. If I believe something deeply, it doesn't mean I'm not open to learning truth. I like to learn, but I can be pretty stubborn. This is different. You know you didn't do it. All the way in 2022, he's requesting, please could you, or was it 2020, testing that they had it in a shelf somewhere. And when you talk about all those decades, okay, he knew he didn't do it, but everybody else writes y'all. Your health care suffers. Do you want to get wellness checkups? Do they even have those in prison? You are written off. People you love, who loved you, believe you did it. That's how long you were in there. And you don't know if you're ever going to get out and somebody's going to have a conscience one day. The sickos who could eat and go to sleep and get up the next day after let's make it clear, Elliott, and I'll give you the last word. He is alleging, and it appears to be the case, this was deliberate.
I mean, it had to have been deliberate, right? Like, I mean, they had every opportunity to correct this. And I mean, it's like, it reminds me of those old, police movies where you have the grizzled old cop and there's always that case that got away from him and then it goes on some escapade. But like, this is like the reverse of that, where it's the old cop who I imagine somewhere knows that they did this. And it also is the one we're hearing about. Like, who knows how many other people like this are. And I know there's organizations that work toward that, to work toward actually like reinstalling justice in these situations. But it is like, this is only the visible side of it. What's going on behind closed doors, we don't know.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. There's probably some of us that this is not likely going to happen to. And I can admit that. But there's so many others who, if they pick you that day, you're done. You're right to bring up those old movies and how this is Angela Lansbury. Remember how she would be so eager she's so puzzled. She's just not going to accept the first conclusion. Right. And she'd dig and with her annoying little ways. And, she's all over the place. And she's hiding in the closet and she sees this is the real murder. And then she confronts them and they admit it. Case closed. And she's super satisfied. It's like she had a full meal off of the truth. And that's not what is happening all too often. If I lived in Englewood, I'd be one of those crazy people showing up, where they have the little town hall meetings and they clear off some time for people like me to stand up and say, I have something to say. And they read off a paper. I wouldn't even need a paper. I'd read them all for filth, even if they weren't around. Make this right. How? Just be better and even better than that. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Doc has the day off. I'm Sharon Reed. Elliott Morgan, Dr. Elliott Morgan. He doesn't want me to say it yet, not yet, but he's this close. And I'm so proud of you. I could just pinch your cheek. I'm so proud of you and your books and your thirst for knowledge. So we'll ask you what else you're up to, as if that's not enough, your family too, and Rebel HQ installments when we come right back. Your comments too.
Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
Welcome back. This is Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. Elliott Morgan is with us, the wonderful soon-to-be PhD. You're funny, you're kind, you have a great family. Oh, yeah, Rebel HQ. So tell us what you're up to. Are you in LA? I'm trying to think.
I am in the beautiful city of Los Angeles, the very normal, stable, chill place where nothing weird ever happens. And I hunker down in my little hut here and I write, and then I occasionally chat with you or Dr. Ritchie about politics, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
So things are going well.
Life.
It's not bad. I really can't complain.
Looking
Very
out
blessed.
the window there, I think you got a good life, and you look at peace. I just kind of sized you up as that. I took to you immediately when we first got on because I said, I think I like him. This guy is he's a good guy. Okay.
Well, thank you.
And I like that. Maybe I asked you this. Did you encounter the National Guard when they were out there? I don't know if you ever, did you see them?
No, I remember. I mean, I actually was in Chicago for some stand-up stuff, and then I went to one of those rallies. But I had friends who were down when that was all downtown, when that was all going down. And it was not a good situation, but also another example of things maybe being blown out of proportion by the media to serve a particular narrative. Who knows?
It's true. If you didn't see them, okay. It's not like they were looking in your window back there. But they had no right to be there. I always get to some of your comments, TYT member, RJL Network. I'm just reading them in order. I'm not hand-picking things. Sharon is awesome. 3 hearts. Thank you, RJL. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but I appreciate you. About that Karen who declared, probably self-deputized, but she said she worked for the police. V. Brown says she should have kept her employer to herself. Not a good look in more ways than one. Okay. Neo, is it Neo? My glasses on. Oh, no, it's Teo. I apologize. 1790. She has the mindset of a slave master. She did kind of talk like an overseer, to be honest with you. That Karen in the boba tea shop. Just get a tea, man, and chill. Why are you doing this? Why? I own you. You're right. Teo 1790. Lord Fuzzy Nuts. I'm making sure I got the name right. I did. Look, these are their handles, and I want to respect your handles. Just because she feeds cops information from the crack motel doesn't mean she works for the police. You're entitled to your opinion. I'll give the disclaimer for the network. It's an opinion. Label it opinion. And the way you're behaving, can you blame people for putting extra things on you? Come on. Eric Adams. Yvonne Chisholm says Eric Adams can't handle people talking about his criminal activities, and he's broke. Not for long. QT Gaming Family. What is this talk? LOL. He threw a bunch of people under the bus to keep from facing those charges. That is a politician for you. It's true. V. Brown is back, 50 Shades of Adams. Yeah, it's just something about the book cover, the tell-all, and how she's probably going to get into their relations. And I don't know. Am I being like, juvenile, Elliott? But it's just, I don't know. It was like it had a sheen to it too. It looked like it was oiled up. I don't know.
It's got that that classic self-published book cover look to it, where you're like, oh yeah, you're not getting I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there might be some typos in it. I would bet money on that.
Wonder if Netflix or Hulu will turn it into something.
I would watch that.
I probably would too. I often have insomnia. I might watch. Okay, let's get back to the stories because we do have. This is unusual. A cop caught on camera lying about why he shot a fleeing black man. So it's not exactly every day, but getting there. Leaked body cam footage exposes Arkansas cop for lying about the reason he shot a black man. We have the details.
Get out the car! 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 Get out the car on the ground! Hey! Get out the car! Get out the car! Alright, shots fired. Get out of the car! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Horrific to watch. Absolutely horrific. The body cam footage that, the Arkansas police, they turned it over, right? Because as hard as it is to see, we needed to see this. No. Police body cam footage showing the Arkansas cop shooting a black man fleeing a traffic stop, it was leaked to the public. That's despite a judge having ordered it sealed during the felony trial of a police officer. Incident took place September 30th, 2023, after McClendon said he tried to pull over Johnson, who was driving an alleged stolen Dodge Charger, which eluded him. About an hour later, other cops tried to stop the Charger, but it eluded them as well. Charger was eventually found abandoned. 2023 video shows Little Rock police officer Giovanni McClendon, who is also black, ordering at gunpoint the driver of a pickup truck to step out of the vehicle, which he did. But Brendan Johnson, age 20, climbed from the back seat of the truck into the driver's seat and began driving away, prompting McClendon to fire 3 times. Johnson claimed he was in fear for his life, believing the truck was going to strike him. Video shows he opened fire from the side of the truck. Johnson was struck in the left temple, but survived the shooting. We got to get the game plan, okay? One officer says to Johnson. He almost hit me, Johnson replies. And McClendon was fired and charged with felony battery and misdemeanor assault charges, to which he pleaded not guilty. The case is still active. Pulaski County Circuit Judge Karen Watley had ordered the video and investigative files to remain sealed a month after the shooting to protect the defendant's right to a fair trial in accordance with due process of the law. That's according to court documents. I don't even have a problem with that. Let's let the facts speak for themselves in a court of law. But is that how the police work when they have something good and juicy on you? Or they claim they do? Maybe they just hand out a statement that says you're this, that, and the other. I know some really dumb reporters who actually take that and present it as fact. I always said, this doesn't sound credible. You get it. According to the police. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes, as we know, it's not. Investigative documents that were also ordered sealed by the judge have not been made public at this time, so it's not clear if they were also leaked. But because of the judge's orders, very few details have been publicized since the 2023 shooting. Clendon was the first cop to confront the 4 men in the truck, pulling his patrol car in front of the truck to block its path. He ordered them out at gunpoint. You heard that. 3 men climbed out of the truck. Johnson climbed from the back seat, as we said, into the driver's seat, attempted to get away, which was when McClendon fired 3 times, striking Johnson in the left temple. Now, he told investigators he was in fear for his life, but he was charged with a felony in less than a week after the police chief viewed the body cam video. He was then terminated from the Little Rock Police Department, where he'd worked for 3 years. Johnson's family held a press conference in the days after the shooting. Family attorney Austin Porter Jr. told local media that Johnson was still hospitalized, was expected to require a lengthy recovery. Feel like he was not deserving, Johnson's mother, Darlicia Johnson, said during the press conference. There's no doubt the actions of Officer McClendon are outside the department's policy related to the use of deadly force, Little Rock Police Chief Keith Helton telling Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Porter said the family was considering filing a lawsuit, but it does not appear as if anything has been filed yet. That's according to state and federal court records. McClendon relieved of duties within hours of the shooting. According to officials, McClendon is being charged with first-degree battery, a felony, first-degree assault, a misdemeanor. There's a lot of twists and turns in this one. Little Rock. Black cop fired within hours. Look, the footage was scary there. I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts running through my head right now, Elliott, okay, as I kind of do the Stevie Wonder thing. I'm spinning, okay? But I do think it's interesting, and you can accuse me all you want, whoever you are out there who's not necessarily part of the family, but we welcome all people, but you're watching to hate. You want to accuse me of playing the race card, but I'm just saying, usually for a cop to get fired, it takes a long time, a really long time. And a lot of times, well, you know this, Elliott, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I want you to have a go at me. A lot of times they're not fired, right? Even when they did something horrific and there's a huge payout. Again, I didn't like having to watch what we watched, the leaked body cam footage. But it's the fallout, man. Okay, it's everything, man. And I just can't. Your turn.
Yeah, it hurts your soul a little bit, I think, when you see footage like this. And I do think it's funny that the judge's name is Karen, and she decided to make sure all these things were sealed, even though I'm not going to go into whether that's a good decision or not. That, I respect it. But I think also there is a huge portion of this country, and I used to subscribe to this, to say, like, look, just do what you're told. And nothing bad will happen. And that's a very, on the surface, I think, like, reasonable position, until you realize that people don't always act reasonably, especially when they're surrounded by a bunch of police officers who are screaming and holding a gun up to them. And so I think it's very naive to just go, oh, well, just do whatever they say to do. And if something bad happens to you, deal with it. I think that takes a certain lack of humanity to actually really believe, because you're talking about a human being here, and they shouldn't have to have to get shot in the head because they freak out. There needs to be a better system in place. And I don't think that we're there.
No, we're not there. And I don't know what Judge Karen, maybe she's trying to give him a fair trial. Look, I do want to say this. In the eyes of the law, too often when people work closely together, prosecutors, judges, that it's not fair. They're blue. We have a close relationship. We're doing this. Now, Little Rock Police Chief fired him within hours. So I don't know where the other infractions, whatever. But you're right about that thing called perspective. Well, it depends on your view, right? Your perspective. And a lot of people don't get it. I don't know what I would have done in that instance. Probably would have just complied. But that doesn't mean, as you indicated, that it's going to work out. It doesn't mean it's going to work out. It's a story we'll keep following. Elliott, tell people where they can find your great work.
Oh, you can find my incredible, excellent, always wonderful, always insightful, right, sometimes even slightly humorous content at youtube.com/rebelhq. And you can check me out at substack.com/Elliott Morgan, which will have posts on it at some point whenever I get to it. So thank you, Sharon.
Well, listen, I remember when, a certain royal, I'm trying to remember which one it was born. Not a single post. They couldn't even talk, walk. They were eating mush or just milk at the time. And they had millions of followers. Okay.
Incredible.
Not a single post. So you're good. Okay. You've
Thank
got a
you.
lot to say. Let's get the people there first. And then when you're ready,
Amen.
you'll take the stage. Okay.
Thank you.
That's how we'll do it. Thank you to Elliott Morgan. Thank you to all of you. We appreciate you. Apologies if I didn't make sense sometimes, you know, as the week goes on, day after day, I don't sometimes even know what I say, but a lot of big stories. TYT thanks you and loves you. Appreciate your contributions to the best audience out there. It's part of a family, actually. It's not just the audience. We're doing this thing together. This is Indisputable. We hope you will join us again.